So, hello. I don't get a chance to do many videos these days, but say hello. There's Ricky. Oh, there's Ricky. Hello, Ricky. What's the matter? I've disturbed him now. Okay, so yeah, I don't get much chance to make a lot of videos, but I've been wanting to put together a little Minecraft server for a while instead of paying for a realm, because mostly it's just people around the house. It's like the adults love Minecraft and the kids love Minecraft, and so just wanted to have a squeaky chair, a little fairly low power server. It's only going to have a couple of people on it at a time, and I can open a couple of ports for people outside possibly. So I decided to put one together, and I have had in the past a little Dell Alienware thing, like the Steam box, which is not going anymore. So and it's a 1150 chipset, got an i7 in it, and it's not going, and I don't think it'll ever go again. It's got a BIOS issue. I think the BIOS chip had it, or something's gone wrong with it. It looks like it's a known issue, but it's I played around with it. I've changed batteries and I've mucked around, and it's just not going anymore. And it's a bit out of date anyway, and it's not really a low power machine. It's got a low power processor, but it does chew a bit of power with if the video card's going, and that part's useless anyway. But knowing I had that chip, I thought, well, I'll get myself a little Dell 9020 or something like that with the same chip. I can either get one without a chip, or if it's got a i5 in it, that'll be fine too. So I looked around. Just, you want to get them pretty cheap, obviously, but the idea being it's a low power machine, use 30 or 40 watts or whatever as a little server that can just tiny little thing. So I did get I did find, where is he, this little guy, so which is now blurry. This one actually has Wi-Fi built in, but I am not using the Wi-Fi. I can plug that straight in. It has got VGA out, which I don't really use. It did come with a did come with a Windows Pro license, so I can just can log into it remotely. So I did get this. It did come with an i5. We'll have a look at that in a minute. i5 processor, and it came with. It's got a single stick of. It's actually got plenty of RAM. It's got 8 gig on a single stick, which is fine. But and it's got a drive in it, and I have tried it. I've put it together and goes quite well. It works well. I've tried it with both a Bedrock and a Java server. The Java server does struggle a bit. It takes a little bit more, and I think the i7 would help there. The Bedrock server, though, it runs quite fine. It's easy, so it's really just the Java one. There's a bit of a struggle for it. Not a struggle, but it does work harder, obviously. But I did the drive on this. It's only 128. It is a SSD, but it's 128, and it is ancient, and I don't really know how much life is left in that either, but it'd have to be at least 5 years old, and there's no telling what this actually did, what sort of usage it's got. It was all cleaned up, obviously, when I got it, but it could have been doing anything that was heavy on the drive or not. So I don't really know what sort of condition the drive is in. It doesn't really tell you. It's an old enough drive. It doesn't seem to have any of the normal diagnostics that say how much life or writes are left in it. So no idea. But anyway, also I hope this mic is not making too much rumble. It seems to pick up the air conditioner, this new mic. So and plus my voice is dead. So what we might do is have a look at the, quickly have a look at the processors online, and then I'll start pulling out the gear I've got to put in the machine. So the machine I ended up picking up was one of these. It's the Dell 9020, but it is a 1150 socket, and I picked that up mostly because I already had a chip sitting around. So this machine came with the 4590T, I think it was, the i5, which is a 4-core, 4-thread, which is not too terrible. That's a 35 watt TDP, 2 gigahertz base clock. So yeah, so that's what it came with. But I had laying around out of the old Dell a 4785, which supposedly has the same TDP, although I think it'll run substantially hotter, but not substantially hotter, but a bit hotter, because it does clock faster, and I just don't see it not running a bit hotter because of the higher clock speed. See, there is a 4790T which runs substantially faster, but it has a higher TDP, and I have looked around at them and they are ridiculously priced for the 1150 socket, so I don't see the point of doing that. In fact, I probably wouldn't even have bought this CPU if I didn't have it laying around already, which is, like I say, why I picked this particular socket. Of course, up in here is the high-end ones like the Dell Area 51s had, because my son has probably the 5820. It's a 6-core, 12-thread on the 21133 V3. Actually, it would be that one. I'm sure it's the 3.6 gigahertz turbo, so it'd be that one, 5820 he's got. So but anyway, this is a 4-core, 8-thread, which, look, the i5 would be fine if I was just running Bedrock, because it's only a few people, but it just, with that Java, it weights it down a bit, and those extra threads will help for sure. So this one, wherever it was, came out, and the other one is going in. Okay, we have a doggy who seems to be very comfortable, and we have a computer with some stuff already in it. I have installed, well, Windows was already on it. I have installed Minecraft on it. I did try it already and was playing with it, and it works quite well. Has a single stick of 8 gig in there, which is fine. It has the old drive, like I said, which may be fine. I don't know. I'm going to put another. I did get this, a little, I think I paid about $40 for this. It's a little Western Digital drive, which I can whack in there. Whether I make that into the C drive later on or just use it for a data drive, I don't know. I can worry about that later, at a later date. I have got RAM laying around. These are 2 sticks of 8 gig. I have got 2 sticks of 4 gig somewhere as well, which would probably be fine. And then we can get it in a dual channel. I don't know if that does that on this, but I assume it does. Instead of having a single stick, it probably won't make much difference, but why not when they're laying around? What else have I got? That's about it. Oh, I got a CPU I've got to grab. But we will. Yes, it's got the Wi-Fi. I have got a Wi-Fi card somewhere too, but I think this one's fine, and I don't use it. So, got an antenna came with it. I dare say it was used in a Wi-Fi environment, possibly, but who knows. These come apart pretty easy, actually. I do love that. It's probably the best way. It's not focusing good. I don't have my SLR going at the moment. I want to hook it up. Put a nice little mount above it would be great, but I don't have that at the moment. Sometimes I do use it, but it's just busy So we open that up and we have RAM and heatsink. And we've got a drive here. Somehow comes out. That is our 128 SSD, and that seems to be working fine. I just don't know how good it is. Our one stick of RAMs, and then we've got a processor to pull out. We'll have a look at that. So yeah, I do not think that is the clearest picture you could possibly get, and I'm going to be in my way, of course. We'll whip this heatsink off, go all blurry. Notice this dog does not care. You can quite see his head. His head is, where is it? Down here. And he's so used to just, you know, sleeping there that he just does not care what I'm doing. And normally I would work on a bigger area, but this thing is so tiny, it is just sitting where my keyboard would normally sit. Give it a little bit of a twist. It is a Intel one, so I'm not going to pull it out of its socket like I have on several occasions with AMD. Okay, being difficult. Come on. Oh, it does not want to come off. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so clean them up. Oh, where's my tissue? So I'll get some spray and clean that up. That does not want to focus, this camera today. I tell you, I'm going to have to set up something way better. So we have got our i7. That's not going to focus either, I don't suppose. Anyway, you can trust me. Yep, wrong way. Is that the right way? I can see it on the camera. It's shiny, and I am missing my SLR. Anyway, it's obviously a used processor as well, but perfectly good. She's going good. And i7 4785T. Try not to destroy the socket. Beautiful, mate. I mostly deal with old school AMD type sockets, but these are fine too. So we need a bit more cleaning here, and some paste. I have no idea what we got here. Some generic paste out of, I don't know, it's Deep Cool. I have several around, but this will be fine for this job. Okay. So the other one, the Alienwares have arrows showing direction of airflow, but I'm pretty sure it goes this way, or not, maybe. Now I'm not so sure. Maybe it's the exact opposite way. going to just try this on here to see if it fits. Okay. It is almost like it's the opposite way it would be in the other machine. The other machine always has the lettering on this side, and it's got arrows on this side, but that looks like that goes in that way. I don't know why they don't put a much deeper focus on these. A bit more wide angle and a deeper focus. It's a webcam, right? It doesn't need to be that much focus on it. So now we just screw them down. Don't have to be done tight, just butt them up and the screen pressure will deal with that. Okay, beautiful. Is that? Oh god, that focus is terrible. So we have that. We have some rammies. Or sheep. Okay. 2 of them. And they're crappy little packets. I'm not sure where these came from or what I bought them for, probably for a laptop or something one stage. Okay. I assume they are the right, yep. I didn't even look, I just assumed they were, because it is a DDR3. Some of the top end ones, I think like the, oh, come on. Alienware, like the socket, whatever socket it is, the V3 one, what is that? It that does not look right. I put the wrong RAM in, haven't I? Where is it? That would help. Let's find some match RAM. Put in the match RAM. It has DDR4, this has DDR3. I should have a screw for that somewhere. Oh. Find a, what do we got here? So, yeah, I'm going to need a screw for that. So, yeah, here are the screws. I've got a bunch of screws here. That should be it. Trying to work out if these are actually screw holes or just, I think they are screws and holes. Yeah, I got these because from, I think I accidentally, I ordered them deliberately. I didn't realize they were coming from somewhere weird like Kazakhstan or Ukraine, or they were like just a couple of dollars on the internet, but I didn't even look where they were coming from. So yeah. So I don't even know. I assume they're the right, they look like the right things. If not, I've got some others somewhere else. I'm not sure what I'm gonna need there. Pull that one out. I think, let me just check that is the right screw. I have a I had some chemo, so my fingertips are not the best. Necroprith, I cannot say it. I have numb fingers. I had to go look, and it is Uzbekistan, sorry. So yeah, that was weird. So I have screws, we have a drive, like I say, I don't know if I want to mirror across to this drive at a later date or what I'm going to do, to be honest. Oh, do I have a... should I have another screwdriver? This one may do it though. But I do struggle, something shocking, with small things these days. Screws and whatnot. Not that that's an excuse for all the stuff ups. I'm just slack. Okay, does that not go in there? Went in the other one, or is it not long enough? Okay, so on closer inspection, one of these has a screw hole in and the other one doesn't. Just to confuse things. That is the one without a screw hole. We'll get it right eventually. So I've got a spare screw to add to my collection. I don't know why they've got that extra screw, actually. It's a bit odd, really. I'm thinking one of these screws on this end is probably, well, I don't know, maybe holds the board down as well. And I don't know. It's a bit of a double up. So I've got a spare screw to add the collection. Oh. I'll chuck it in here for now. And I have a spare stick of RAM. And I think I have got an old laptop. It may be DDR3, it may be DDR2, but I think it's got a stick of 4 and a 2. I might be able to do some mix and match. They won't be exactly matching, but they don't match at the moment because it's got a 4 and a 2. So we've got a new drive, and how we'll set that up. Like I say, I haven't decided whether I'm going to have that as the C. If it was, normally I just got a cheap one because I thought I'd probably be a D drive. Normally I didn't want to spend a lot of money on this one either, but normally I would get like a Samsung or something. Because I have the cool software that really does mirror reliably, and I would mirror the C drive under the boot drive onto it, but oh gee, I can't talk. But for this case, I will probably just use it as is, and either that or I'll take this out. But I don't have any other use for this old drive anyway, so. And that's pretty well it. Well, I'll do some checking on that when I heat it up. When I start it up, I'll check the temperatures on that. I've got some of this old RAM back in one of these. I like to keep these because you never know. They're always handy to have around. Just stick RAM in like they were stuck in. Oh, there we go. And that is about it. We can put our... Yeah, that's interesting. They've got the fan and they've got some sort of speaker stuck on it at the same time, which is weird. Everything looks good. These, what have they got on these? They have not a lot of serial, but then I didn't really need a lot of serial. I think I have a little daughter board that can go in here that can do other things like HDMI or whatever. This one's only got Has it got? Oh, it's got a display port, which I'm not using. I did. Maybe I did install Windows on this. I don't remember. I did briefly use that port, the VGA port or whatever it is on it, just to VGA, just to get it set up. Yeah, it's got a few serials on the back. Good show. I suppose that just slides in there and that works, eh? Good show on that. And that's about all there is to it. Find the case. And then we can log back in, because like I say, it's already set up to log in. We can log back in and check whether all of that stuff is working. Beautiful. They are nice to work on, I will admit. I mean, I don't have the greatest confidence in them after the trouble I've had with the other Dell unit I had, the Alienware one. I don't have a huge amount of confidence in them, but I have a feeling these ones, because they are done as a business situation, probably more reliable and last longer, but we shall see. It doesn't really matter, it's just a bit of fun, right? Okay, and we'll plug that back in and see if it goes. So this thing is still not focusing the best, is it? A little bit better. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. That's really annoying. Yeah, I forgot to mention that, yeah, of course that little machine comes with a little external power brick, which I wasn't fortunate enough to get an original one. It looks like it's a modified one. It has like a adapter lead, but oh, it's a, what do you call it, third party one. I don't know what happened to the original. Maybe it blew up. Who knows? It does seem to work anyway. So we shall see if it's going to boot. I have pressed the button and we will try and log on to it. Oh, and it looks like we have got a login, which is good. And we got a desktop. Oh, what was that? Something flashing up. Get a temperature. 45. That seems less than it was. Anyway. We have got our... I'm looking over there because that's where I've got a screen that sees what's coming up on the screen, on the feed, and here is where the just tilt that up a little bit, maybe. Yeah, this is where it's on my screen. Oh yes, we have got the RAM, so we have got. If we put that up here a bit more, we can maybe see. As you can see, we have got the CPU is correct. Our RAM is up. I did put a lot of these things on there to test it earlier. So we put. I'm just trying to tilt this up a little bit so it's on the screen. It's an older version, but it'll work. Okay, so CPU's on there. RAM is in dual channel. It was in single. I don't know if that's going to make very much difference, but why not? SPD Micron technology. I forget what the other one was. I think it came up as Micron as well. So it looks pretty much the same without actually looking at an old photo or something. I think I did take a screenshot and a photo. Sometimes I take quick and dirty screenshots. My wife taught me that one. Yep, so that is going. Do a quick bench do a quick bench on it. I don't remember what the old readings were, so that's not much use, but it'll just see what it's doing. CPU's gone up. I'll tell you what I should do. I have got this on here. Yeah, it's a Dell. Find some space to put that. Okay, so if we bench it again and just see what that temper does, and we'll burn it a little bit. I don't think I've got anything else on here to burn with, but this will just give us an idea to make sure we've put, you know, if we got a good thermal connection and everything. And that seems to be going. That's interesting. Normally I've got to go into Disk Manager, or let's just check. Do we have a disk? No, I've still got to go into Disk Manager. Okay, so it does show up there, but we've still got to go into Disk Manager. It's okay. And I don't know if I'm going to think about that one. I may even try a copy. I might even try to mirror the drive. Okay, so we are getting 3.1. It's supposed to do maybe 3.2, but we haven't really done anything to try it out or to get the speed up. But it is actually going over 3 gigahertz. So is it supposed to? Although this says 2.2. So yeah, that's all sorted out. Looks right. And that's at I've got the room air conditioned. It's probably about 25 degrees, so it does run pretty hot, but then it is just a little tiny heatsink and fan, but then it's very low power CPU. But we'll just run that. And we shall just stress it up a bit and see if it's going at a reasonable and that is all this print's probably a bit small on this little screen, but it's only there for the graphs and things. I could expand that a bit, I might in a minute, but it's topping out at about 62, 63, but notice the fan is still going faster and faster, which is interesting. Even though the temperature's not rising, it's just like it's obviously got some sort of software ramp up on that. I can't hear the fan yet. I have had this on a hot day. I have tested it and got the fan up. It is a little bit noisy in that you can hear it if it's absolutely flat out, because it will go up very high. I think it goes up to nearly 4,000, and I'm in Townsville, Queensland, in the tropics, so it does get quite hot here. So if you run something like this in that sort of weather, it will get, not that it gets hot, I haven't seen it that hot, but it will get the fan going. 66. I've got the same one down here, 66. 2 different programs telling us roughly the same thing. We'll trust it. We're trustworthy people. Okay, so 66 degrees and 3000 RPM. I'm not I've got it out behind my monitors here on the back of the desk. I'm not hearing anything at this stage, but then with all the fans, I've got air conditioners going and I've got fans on the main computer, and so yeah, notice I've got a little bit of flickering behind. I have got I can't really get it out yet, but I have got an LED. I'm going to replace this fluoro up here with an LED light, and maybe that will help with some of this flickering, which drives me up the wall. So it's interesting that the fan sort of, I haven't capped out the fan yet. The fan keeps going faster and faster, even though the temperature of the CPU, I often wonder, is that temperature the actual sensor that's controlling the fan? And I'm starting to think that it is not. So what temperature is still going up? Interesting. Anyway, so and it's still, the CPU, I mean the fan is still going. Oh yeah, we have gone up a little bit in temperature though. Anyway, I'm going to stop that, just see if it cools down quickly. Not that quick. It did drop a little bit, and then it's, bizarrely though, the fan dropped off drastically, and the CPU is cooling down slower than I'd like. But the fan slowed down very quickly, so obviously the fan and the temperature sensor are very loosely connected. Disk management, later on you must initialize before you get so I can look into that later and work out what I'm going to do with that. I think I should just something for later. So that went well, relatively. It actually worked afterwards. I didn't blow anything up or screw anything up. So we now have our i7, 16 gigs, and more storage than we need. It is overpowered, and in all honesty, if you were doing this in a economic way, you wouldn't spend any more money on that thing than you had to. The way it came was fine. You want to really look for cheap deals. It's because not something I want to spend a lot of money on, but something to play around with. So until next time, which could be any time, because I just need to set up better. I'm going to clean up my room here a bit, like thinking about tearing all this out. I've only got this old desk. This was my dad's desk, and it's not quite, actually it probably is older than me, because he got it from God knows where, and he put it in his office under his house when I was probably 8 or 10 or so, and it was, I'm pretty sure it was secondhand then, and he built it under the house. He built an office around it, which he then couldn't get it out of the house because we couldn't get it out of that room, so I think he ended up tearing a wall down to pull it out, and it's been through several houses since then. I then brought it up here, and it's a pretty shoddy old desk. It's been around, and it's, like I say, it is probably, like, it could be 60-year-old. So probably won't get rid of it, but it probably needs to be out of here. And I wouldn't mind getting some nice, because I've got bits and pieces of tables here, they're all junked up. I wouldn't mind getting some shelves and putting a nice bench in here and making this a little bit of a, because it's a fairly small room. It's a very small room, and a lot of the stuff needs to go. This printer is not even, I need to put that back in the machine, because I have a little keyboard that I can use if I have to use the machine directly. But this printer is obsolete. It's an old black and white laser. I have a new one downstairs that colour one that we use, so that needs to go. There's a lot of stuff in here that needs to go. and put benches all around, and it would be sweet. For another time. Maybe as a video, but I doubt it.